We're going to hear tomorrow morning our time, tonight yours, from Joe Biden for the first time. Are you among those who think he should step down as president? If his cognitive decline is so great that he can't run again, well, what about the next 6 months?
Well, it's no doubt an extremely dangerous period of time. He's already a lame duck president now that he's said that he's not going to run again at the top of the ticket. I think the decision of whether or not he steps down is a decision for him and his family. I would hope that he would do the right thing if he's not mentally capable to do the job. I wish him good health. I think it was kind of a relief to many Americans when they saw him able to walk onto that airplane yesterday of Air Force One, because we haven't seen him since last Wednesday. But Sharri, it's not really a matter of, is Joe Biden competent right now that makes it a dangerous time for America and the free world? We have seen an erosion of U.S. deterrence now for the last 3.5 years that has resulted in many things, whether it's a more aggressive China, whether it's Putin invading Ukraine, whether it's Iran launching direct attacks on Israel, Israel not able to rely on us, so they're launching direct attacks just in these recent days on Houthi targets in Yemen, a major attack over the weekend that they were compelled to do for their own security. So I think in some respects it's a little misleading. Don't just focus on this one event. Focus on the bigger picture here, and also how we've allowed China, Russia, Iran, North Korea to get together and form an alliance of sorts, an evil alliance.
Yes.
That is presenting a huge threat, not just to our interests here in the United States, but to yours, to Japan's, to India's, to Taiwan's. It's a growing threat. We've got to get serious about it, and we've got to get serious about restoring deterrence, because without it, I fear that we're moving toward a greater conflagration, the likes of which we haven't seen in many decades.
No, you're absolutely right. And we talk about that emerging axis of evil often on this program. And that's the one thing that concerns me about the Republican Party, is that there's this isolationist movement, this push for America not to be involved in foreign wars, when at this time, at the most volatile time in decades, we need a United States that is going to play a strong role as a world leader. Just before you go, Mary, does that concern you, that there's this push for America not to get involved in any foreign wars? And if, whoever's the president articulates that, then our enemies know that.
Well, if you had U.S. deterrence, if our enemies feared us, then there wouldn't be foreign wars. Under the last 4 presidents, the only one where Putin didn't invade a foreign country was under President Trump. And I think our record in the Trump administration has been grossly distorted. The idea that we weren't interested in leadership or alliances is simply false. We had a unanimous support from NATO from withdrawing from the INF Treaty. We sanctioned Putin's inner circle. We unleashed U.S. energy. We took away his money. We imposed strong tariffs on China. We revivified the Quad. We got together with the European Union and started a dialogue on China that had never happened. We went around the world. We got countries to get rid of Huawei, to wake up to Chinese influence operations.
This was all down
This is a lot of work. This
is Mike Pompeo, though, isn't it? This is all thanks to the former Secretary of State.
No, Mike Pompeo answered to President Trump, and every major decision he took was sanctioned by the president. The president sets foreign policy. And I have to say, Sharri, I listened to a lot of this commentary, and it just absolutely befuddles me, because you have to ignore the record of achievement in order to claim that the United States is somehow retreating into an isolationist shell. We're not. If we didn't care about NATO, for instance, why would we go to the trouble to browbeat these countries into simply living up to their promises? Look, 2% is a floor. If you were serious about countering the threat from Vladimir Putin, it should be 3%, 4%, 5%. And those should be discussions happening in European capitals today. European voters should want their leaders to be serious about their own security, not to outsource it. So I think these are necessary conversations. I think the idea that we're not active internationally is ridiculous. And I think that a lot of the fear mongering that's been happening about a second Trump term, I think is unwarranted. And you've got to look at the record of the Trump era versus the Biden era. What did Biden do? Pulled out of Afghanistan, appeased Iran, paid for our hostages, did nothing to really enact consequences as communist China has become more aggressive. Yes, he did AUKUS. That's great. Yes, he continued the Quad.
And of course,
He's
AUKUS was Australia's idea, not America's. Mary Kissel, we've got to leave it there, but I have to say, I'm sure everyone watching can see why you were Mike Pompeo's top advisor. Really appreciate your time, as always. Thank you.